Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton. Obviously not much of a match. Cinematic bullshit, but again, wasn't expecting a real match, so I wasn't really disappointed by this. I've enjoyed this feud more than most. I think it's dragged on way longer than it should. That's really been my biggest problem with this. And you also brought up a problem that you addressed to me over text and tweeted out right after the pay-per-view. And I completely agree. That Orton has not gotten the upper hand whatsoever in this feud. He beat The Fiend at TLC. He's helping put these guys over by having him, go over. Not go over, but like having them look strong at every turn. But at a certain point, when it happens every week, it just makes for boring TV. It doesn't make me look at The Fiend and Alexa as being more dominant or intimidating or whatever. It just makes me think that Orton's a loser. And again, I know he's already established, but you want to go into that a little bit more before we go into The Fiend return and all that other stuff, why this feud has worked and why it hasn't in those kind of certain ways?
Yeah, I tweeted it out and texted you out there. I just feel like if this was like a 1 or 2 month program and like this happened with The Fiend in February, and then they kept doing it from there, and then okay, maybe it's like, okay, Randy beat him in February, burn him alive, have him come back in March, like he's been kind of been screwed with Alexa in the meantime. It's been only a few weeks. Fiend comes back, need WrestleMania. But it's been since fucking mid-December. I mean, since that point, Randy's been looking like an idiot because, yeah, he beat The Fiend at TLC. Yeah, he burned him. But, like, Alexa's been getting the better of him this whole time. It's been almost 2 to 3 months at this point. So
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I just think he looks like, you said, looks like a loser. They've done this stupid black goo coming out of his mouth like 1,000 times. Been there, done that. The match, was what it was. The flames at the beginning, like, where did those come from? Like, they just can't change the camera angle. All of a sudden, flames are flying at them. Alexa looks up in the ceiling. A fucking lighting tower falls in front of him. She throws another fireball at him. A lot of smoke and mirrors, cinematic stuff, like you said. It just kind of fell flat. Randy never got her hands on her, and she never really put her hands on him. And it is what it is. It's been to the point. I like all 3 people involved. It's done to the point. I just don't care anymore. It's getting to that point. I'm glad WrestleMania is a couple weeks away because I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Yeah, we got to move on from this stuff. It's been going on since like October or November, whenever they started the feud when The Fiend came to Raw. And again, I've enjoyed parts of it more than most. I think the black goo has been stupid. But yeah, just it's felt like the same thing week after week. I like the setup for the Mania match on Raw. At the end of the show, I thought that was well done. And honestly, again, I saw a lot of memes going on around it. I saw a lot of memes going on around about it, but I thought the Fiend look looked awesome. I think the new Fiend look looks really cool. So that was just me. He's like burned alive. And again, it's exactly what we texted after we both watched the show. What do people expect? Like, was he going to come back looking exactly the same after being burned alive 3 months ago? I would hope not. Because, if that happened, you'd have even those same people would be complaining. So, like, those are people who just don't like The Fiend and don't care what they do with him. They're just going to shit on it regardless. I thought it was cool. And I think the new look, I don't know if he's going to keep it or what, but I think it's an awesome new look for The Fiend personally.
Yeah, we did this via text as well. People right away after they saw it, they were just completely crapping on it. But in theory, what they want them to be, come back like reincarnated, the regular Fiend. Like, they had to do something, or just, it would have been so WWE if he came back with just Bray Wyatt again, or the Fiend, or just like, and it made sense that he came back like charred or burned because, the last time we saw him, that's what happened. But sometimes they would just like kind of forget that happened, and he'd just come back alive and be like, oh, his powers, he's the same again. So, I thought it was good. It definitely is a new, scarier look. I didn't hate that. I know a lot of people just like trolled on Twitter, and like you said, I think it's those people that just don't like Bray Wyatt, so they're going to immediately just crap on it. But I thought it was a decent look. Makes sense. I just need this feud to wrap up, hopefully at WrestleMania, and we can move on.
It's got to be the cinematic match, right?
I hope so. I don't need to see a WrestleMania 33 again, especially if they do this same kind of foolishness they did with him and Alexa. Please be. I'm not even a big cinematic fan, but with these two, please.
But the thing,
I like Fiend. I just think him as an in-ring wrestler just bores people to tears, and I can see why.
The thing is, though, is that if they do, even the Alexa Orton stuff on Sunday, I don't hate because they rely on a lot of like editing tricks and shit like that. It doesn't really bother me because maybe it's just because I think they're doing a good job of making the most of the current circumstances and the fact there's no fans. You can't do that shit if there's fans. With the lighting structure, you can't do that stuff if there's fans there. They can't do that at WrestleMania. So if you hated what we got on Sunday, I think it would be even worse if we got an actual match a la WrestleMania 33. So I hope to God it's going to be cinematic. I think it will be cinematic. But the Fiend's got to win. I mean, Orton lost. This is the weird thing, dude, is that you would think Orton gets killed every single week, that he's probably winning the match, but he already beat the Fiend at TLC. So I don't know. What do you see as being the end game for all of this?
I mean, if it's a cinematic match, there's no, like, I guess technically loser or winner. So I mean, you could technically have Bray Wyatt win, but it's not like he's like pinning Orton clean as a sheet. I mean,
like with Cena.
I just like we said, he's been beaten he's been beat to every punch this last couple months. I mean, it's to the point I don't even like he's not even really a threat anymore because he's being teased around by a little girl for the last 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I've enjoyed it on the whole. It definitely jumped the shark for me in the sense that it's dragged on a little long, but we'll see what they have in store for it. I'm hoping we get a Firefly Funhouse type match. I don't know if it'll be the exact same thing, but I would like to see something along those lines.